Okay, we are live. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We have an amazing treat tonight. I have with me a clinical psychologist tonight, Dr. Kimani, and she is known as the toxic job liberator for Black women. And she helps Black women really create that exit plan if they're experiencing toxicity in that job so that they can go on to bigger and better. She's also the co-creator of the Job Liberation Summit for Black women, along with Marissa Price. So thank you for being with us here today. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Robin.
And I'll let you go ahead and do an introduction of yourself and tell us a little
Yes.
bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Dr. Kimani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm originally from Chicago, but I live in Los Angeles. So I'm licensed in California as a psychologist. I am also a toxic job survivor. But more importantly, I like to say I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. And I'm the co host of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, which is May 18th and 19th with Marissa Price.
Oh, that's awesome. That's coming up soon here. So
Yes.
it's not this weekend, but the following weekend coming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, and I'm so happy that you're one of our speakers.
Yes, yes. And I'm going to talk about, go really deep dive into sleep health, because
Yeah.
that's one of the major areas that women can really see, especially if they're experiencing that toxicity. It
Mhm.
really hits their sleep at night.
It messed with
Most
my
of the
sleep.
people, yes, it really did. And
Mhm.
most of the people who come to me have like stress-induced insomnia. And
Mm.
so the work that you're doing is so important because this is a major stressor on our life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Stress, a whole stress on our livelihood. So that's really
Absolutely.
major. Can you tell us somehow how toxic work environments really impact mentally and physically, specifically for Black women, what you saw in your own experience and some of the clients you've helped?
Yeah, so it can have a whole range of different experiences because when you're in a toxic work environment, it's a form of poison. So the poison
Mhm.
impacts you, it gets in your body. So it poisons your physical body, your psychological, and even spiritual. So physical symptoms might be high blood pressure, your blood pressure is going up, weight gain, weight loss, sleep difficulties, stomach problems, headaches, back pain. I used to have these really bad nosebleeds, even though I never had nosebleeds ever in my life, right?
Um,
Your hair is falling out, which happened to me. So those are some of the physical symptoms. Psychological, profound sadness, anxiety, dread waking up. The job could be a trauma trigger. So you could have like
mm,
PTSD types of symptoms. Um, and also that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness, that nothing
mhm.
will make this better, my life will always be this way. And to the extreme, you might have people experience suicidal thoughts as well and behaviors at the
Oh my
extremes.
God. Oh, that's
Yeah,
really scary. And
yeah.
nosebleeds. I wouldn't have ever thought of that.
Oh, it's really bad. And that's what was so scary. I'd never had them before in my life.
Until,
And since I left, I've never had them again.
oh, that's good. That's really good news.
Yes.
What are some common signs that a job is becoming like really bad for someone's health?
Hmm.
In terms of if they're on their borderline, they're not really sure. What are some signs that says, listen, this may be bad for your health?
Yeah, I would say anything that's a change in your baseline functioning. So if
Mhm.
normally you eat well, you sleep well, your blood pressure's good, then you start noticing things are a little off. You need to look at, okay, so what is contributing to that? And really honestly evaluate your situation, your life circumstances. What are the things that might be
Mhm.
contributing to that? And I would say absolutely get a physical. And if you're starting to have some psychological symptoms, please seek therapy also to address the psychological symptoms. So again, we're looking at any change in your baseline functioning.
Okay, so that would be like an alert sign.
Hmm.
Someone's had. I remember that my dad had some issues at his work. This was years ago, and he always had like regular blood pressure, and all of a sudden it skyrocketed, and they couldn't get
Hmm.
it. And it was definitely,
It was
um,
stress.
definitely the stress in a
Hmm.
public school system in a big city. So yeah, it was very
Mm,
similar.
yeah.
How can people who are experiencing this toxicity, how can they start slowly liberating and relieving themselves from that?
Well, first is to recognize it's a problem. So once
Mhm.
you say, wait a minute, it's the job that's causing me stress, So when you think about like a job, a lot of us think, well, I get this job, I stay at this job, it's a good job, I have these good benefits. But quoting Stephanie Perry, a job's not a good job, it's killing you. And if you're
Mm-mm.
accessing your healthcare benefits because the job is making you sick, not a good job either. So the first step is to acknowledge this job is the problem. The second step
Mhm.
is start thinking about, okay, I recognize it's a problem. What do I need to do to start getting out of here? Right. A lot of times
Mhm.
you need therapy because when you're in a toxic job and it's traumatic for you, you need to have someone around you who can reality test about your experience, who's
Mhm.
objective, and you need somebody to help you so you don't start self gaslighting yourself. Because when you're in the toxic job, they're gaslighting you. Then you might start self
Mhm.
gaslighting yourself. Your mind gets so messed up, you're not even able to think about how to get out because your mind is messed up. So
Wow.
therapy is important for that. And then while you're in therapy, start pursuing coaching. Who is it that you see in your profession who's doing well, who works with people to help them navigate finding other opportunities? It might be another job, it might be creating
Mhm.
their own business, whatever that might be. Start doing your research about who are some of the really good coaches in your profession and start working with them. Come up with your exit plan so that when you're ready to go, you're able to pivot out of that job into your
Mhm.
next opportunity. So there's not like this financial hardship or
Right.
stress about I don't have any money coming in. No, you're prepared, but just start working on that over time. And as you're working on that, please be mindful of who you tell your information to.
Yes.
Don't talk to your coworkers about I'm done with this job. I'm trying to get don't talk to them about it
Mhm.
because they could end up sharing your business with other people.
And
So
making
just
your situation worse.
so much worse, so
Yeah.
much worse. So just be mindful and just start planning, exit planning.
Okay. I like
Hmm.
how you say that, because that really takes the edge off of the fear. Some people think, oh, they just want me to go cold turkey. A coach just wants me to go, just quit cold turkey
Mm-mm.
without a safety net. So you
No.
really work with clients to really have a plan, an exit
Yes.
plan in place, and to begin executing that plan.
Yeah. So the only time I tell people leave immediately is if
Mhm.
you're in physical or psychological danger. So physically, if
Okay.
you are like at stroke level, high blood pressure, or psychologically you're about to have a nervous breakdown or something like that, you need to go. You need to go, right?
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't tell people go immediately. I talk about how do we develop a plan.
Hmm. Okay, that's awesome. And when
Hmm.
you're going over a plan, in terms of self-care for them to do in the meanwhile, while they're, it may not be quite time yet, what are some things they can do for self-care to help assist them? And I know it's not a total healing, but at least coping with the situation until they can get out.
I'm so glad you said that because we're distinguishing between coping and healing. Because
Yeah,
the healing doesn't really happen until after you leave.
to
Because
protect
when
you.
you're in that
Mhm.
environment, you're constantly being attacked and beat down. So you're in survival mode. And so when you're in survival mode, you're trying to cope with the environment, right?
Right.
So as you're trying to cope, think about what are the things that help you feel better. So as you are on your way to work, can you listen to some soothing music or some hype up music? What do you need to help prepare yourself? As you're in that work environment, can you take steps out? Can you go outside? Can you take some breaths?
Mhm.
Are there personal affirmations you can say to yourself, right? When you
Oh, yeah.
leave the job, think about, okay, I'm leaving the job at the job. I'm not bringing the job to my home. So I used to say to
Mhm.
myself that my home was my sanctuary space. So stuff
Yes.
about the toxic job, I would not bring it into my home. But that was
Uh-huh.
that was before the pandemic and all that when we were working at home. Then they came home with me, right?
Right.
I couldn't do anything about that then. But just have those sanctuary moments and also limit how much time you're talking about the job to other people and to yourself if
Mm.
you're thinking about it, because then it could become all consuming. Also, think
Mhm.
about what are the other things that you like to do that maybe you're not doing anymore because you've lost interest because the job is wearing you down,
Just suck the life out of you.
suck
Yes.
everything out of you, right? So how do you reconnect to those things so you remember the
Mhm.
joy of life? Because if you don't, again, you think your job is everything. And it feels like,
Yes.
oh, there's nothing good about my life. It's like, No, reconnect to the things that bring you joy and involve yourself with that. Also, healing and community is important. So make sure you have a really good support system around you that pours
Mhm.
into you, that gives you support. If you're telling them about the job, that these are not people who are telling you to stay in an abusive situation, right?
Right.
That if they're telling you that, then boundaries, don't tell them about your job situation. Talk to
Mhm.
people who will support you as you're trying to exit, not people telling you to just stick it out,
Stay
just stay,
there and take it.
right? Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing is it's very healing to go outside because vitamin D is a natural mood elevator. So go
Yes, and get some
outside,
sun.
go out, get some
Yes.
sun, do other things that make you feel good. Do some type of movement because when you move
Mhm.
your body, that also helps with mood as well. So
Right.
engage in those behaviors that might help your mood, but also recognize you're not going to feel 100% better because you're still being attacked in that environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really like that difference between there's a difference between coping and healing.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be in that real total healing phase until you are away from being constantly
Yes.
attacked
Exactly.
in that situation.
Exactly. Because you're not safe. You're not psychologically
Right.
safe in that environment.
Wow. That's a very interesting point you made because we always think about safety as physical safety, but someone really being in environments where your mental health is being attacked constantly, that
Mm-hmm.
can be really
Mm-hmm.
dangerous as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So in terms of like the actual summit itself that's coming up on the weekend of the 18th and 19th of May here,
Mm-hmm.
what do you expect attendees to actually get from this summit?
Well, they're going to get so much. They're going to get so much. So I'm going to give just a rundown of the summit. So
Okay.
May 18th, sorry. May 18th kicks it off with Stephanie Perry. So talking about job detox and how to address those mental roadblocks we might have that might
Yeah.
keep it at the toxic job. Because
Mhm.
once you get past the mental roadblocks, it's easier, right? But
Right.
we have all those
Mhm.
fears telling you to stay and your identity's wrapped up in the job. Okay. So we're going to address that. And then Kira is going to talk, and all the speakers are Black women. So
Yeah.
Kira is going to talk about burnout. What does that look like? When we're in burnout, many
Mhm.
times we don't recognize it until it's too late. So Kira is going to be talking about burnout. What does it look like? What to do about it? And then Kamisha Jones, who's a social worker, is going to be talking about ways that our mental health may be impacted by being in a toxic job. And then
Mm.
we have you. You're next.
Yes.
Yes, you're next. I was like, wait a minute, I got the source right here.
Yeah.
So, so do you want to share what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. My experience, this was something I did to myself in terms of a toxic job years ago where I worked on purpose. They weren't misleading. I purposely took an overnight shift that would start at 7 p.m. at night and get off at 7 a.m.
Ooh,
And that was definitely not an ideal situation for myself. I thought it was a great idea. I could be really present for my son during the daytime. And, while he's asleep, I could be working. And it was an at home position, a telepharmacy position where it was remote work.
mm-hmm,
But during this time, I was going through a whole lot of things in terms of I was having a divorce at the time,
mm.
um, some issues with my son. My father passed away, and I
Oh
had
my
this new
God.
job where we're going to talk about different chronotypes when we look into the summit. And some people are natural night owls. I am
Hmm,
not one of them. And
hmm,
so that definitely created a toxicity where it created issues with me sleeping,
hmm,
issues with blood pressure, issues
hmm,
with just me feeling like a zombie overall.
hmm,
So we're
hmm,
going to take a deep dive into looking at sleep hygiene, all the things we need to be doing on a daily basis. I
hmm,
love the idea of people, they have like self-care Sunday or self-care Saturday, but there should be things that we are doing every day for our self-care to get the best absolute sleep that we can be getting. Eating
hmm,
natural melatonin foods, getting our natural vitamin C, making sure our room is the optimal temperature. So we're going to go into a major deep dive where everyone at the summit is going to walk away being able to get better sleep that night. They
ooh,
won't have to wait 2 weeks, 2 months, a year. They can actually start that night getting that
ooh,
really good sleep that they need and deserve.
ooh, I
So that's
love
that's gonna
that.
be my portion. So I'm excited. I'm really excited
Yes. We need some good sleep because when you don't get good sleep, you are moody. You are
Yes.
just like you're not your best. You're fuzzy with your
Mm-mm.
thoughts, and
No.
it's just not good. It's just not good,
You're
right? Okay, so
cranky, you're irritable, you can't
ugh,
make good decisions. So it's a mess. So we're
and
definitely
your
going to
physical
decide.
appearance looks messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. So after you, then there'll be Alicia Renese, who's going to be talking about ways that we can connect to our joy and our dreams. A lot of times, toxic jobs kind of suck that out of us.
They
So how do we
do.
connect to that? That's day one. Day two kicks it off with Amory Archer, the anti-HR lady, talking about issues of discrimination and severance. And then we're going to have Libria Jones talking about how to get remote work, contract work,
Mhm.
freelance work. Patrice is going to talk about creating a side hustle because creating a side hustle can kind of give you that financial exit to get out of your job. And
Right.
then Marissa and I are going to talk about how to create your own business using your skills and talents that you already have, utilizing that
Mhm.
job. And then we're going to end off with Dr. Roche Brown, who's a financial psychologist. She's the same financial psychologist that I work with so that I
Oh,
get my financial
awesome.
exit plan together to leave that toxic job. So she's going to
Mhm.
finish it off talking about financial exit planning, as well as what to do about your health insurance, your retirement, your life insurance. And then for those who want to upgrade their ticket, the highest tier ticket is that additional day, that following Monday, having an additional 1 hour with Dr. Roche Brown to really get your financial exit plan together, particularly if you're trying to leave within the next 6 months to a year. For the summit, it's based upon whenever you want to leave, right? So you're
Okay.
getting information to get prepared, so you'll have an exit plan, but you decide when you want to go. There's no
Right.
expectation of you leave by a certain time. The other thing is that Mercer and I wanted to make sure that people felt comfortable coming to the summit because we want people in our business or sometimes jobs follow people, whatever.
Right.
So no participants will have their face on camera. No names will be listed. If people want to make a comment or question, then they could change their name in the platform. So that's a way to hopefully encourage people to feel comfortable coming. And we are allowing now for people to sponsor Black women to come to the summit. So in
Oh,
addition to registering for
awesome.
the summit, you can also sponsor a Black woman to come to the summit. So let's say you already got your ticket, there might be another Black woman who you want to gift to come to the summit, or maybe
Mhm.
you feel like the summit's not a good fit for you, but you could still gift a Black woman for that. So this year, we're on a mission to usher in 500 Black women for the summit this year. So we're at about 200. No, we are over 200 right now. So we're trying to
Nice.
get 500 Black women ushered to freedom through the summit this year.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. That is so exciting. Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome. Well, I do have information below. Anyone watching right now, hello to the people in the future and who's on right now. I have the link specifically below in the description so that you can purchase your ticket for yourself. Like Dr. Kamani said, you could also purchase it for someone else who you
Hmm.
would like to donate to, who you really feel may really benefit from this, really being finally liberated from the
Yes.
toxicity in their workplace. So I'm
Yes.
so excited about this. Is there anything I missed or something, anything you want to add?
I'm excited about the part about getting some good sleep.
Yes,
Even
definitely.
after going to the summit, I'm excited about that myself because it's been a long road, working on the summit. And sometimes we have so many things
Yes,
on our plate that sometimes our sleep gets impacted.
that's true, true. You're gonna sleep so well after the summer. You're gonna crash, and you're gonna deserve it. It's gonna be a well deserved after all the
Agreed.
planning you all have done.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to my channel today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm so glad you're a speaker at the summit.
Yes, yes, I'm looking forward to it once again. We have the link down below in the description section, so be sure to get your ticket today. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.